Hey, today we are going to determine whether the following function is even, odd, or neither. So we're going to zoom in here. This is the function that we'll be looking at today. F of x equals x cubed plus 2x divided by the square root of x squared plus 1. And so I'm going to show you some rules that you can look at that will help you to determine whether a function is even, odd, or neither. If a function is even, f of negative x will be equal to f of x. If it is odd, f of negative x will be equal to negative f of x. And if neither is equal to each other, then it's neither. I'm going to show you now, we're going to test and see if this is an even function. So we're going to look and see if f of x is equal to f of negative x. And so, as you can see here, we're going to go ahead and swap all of the x's within the function with a negative x. And so we've gone ahead and switched that to a negative x cubed plus 2 times negative x divided by the square root of negative x squared plus 1. We're now going to go ahead and distribute and simplify this equation to see if it's equal to f of negative x. So negative x cubed is still negative. That's because anything to an odd power will stay either positive or negative, depending on how it originated. 2 times negative x is equal to negative 2x. And we're going to divide that all by negative x squared. Since it's raised to the power of an even power, we know it's going to be positive. We're going to flip the sign there. So that's going to be positive x squared plus 1. And so we've got our equation here, negative x cubed minus 2x divided by positive x squared plus 1. And we're going to see if this is the same as f of x. And as you can see, positive x cubed is not the same as negative x cubed. Positive 2x is different from negative 2x. We do have a similar base. We've got a similar denominator, We've got the square root of x squared plus 1, which is the same down here. But since the equation does not match perfectly, we know that it's not even. So we're going to go ahead and say no, that is not an even function. Now we're going to test to see if it's an odd function. And remember, if it's odd, that means f of negative x, this equation here, will be equal to negative f of x. And so as you can see right here, we've got negative f of x. And that means that we're going to make the function negative. And so since this is already in a fraction, I thought it would be easiest to demonstrate by multiplying by negative 1. And so remember, when you multiply fractions, you just go straight across, right? So we're going to distribute that negative 1 across, and then we'll distribute the positive 1. And so we've got negative 1 times x to the third is negative x to the third. We've got negative 1 times 2x equals negative 2x. And then we've got 1 times the equation, the square root of x squared plus 1, and that's just going to stay the same, since anything times 1 is itself. And so now we've got this equation here, negative x cubed minus 2x divided by the square root of x squared plus 1. And technically, since this x is squared and this is a square root, we could bring out the x. However, for this video, we're just going to leave it in there for now, just to kind of simplify things a little bit. And so if we look, we can see that negative x to the third is the same up here with the f to the negative x to the third. It's got a negative 2x that looks the same as well. We've got in the denominator the square root of x squared plus 1. That's the same as well here. And so we can see that f of negative x is the same as negative f of x. And so yes, this equation is odd. I wanted to give you kind of a side-by-side view. So as you can see here, these are the exact same. F of negative x equals negative x cubed minus 2x divided by the square root of x squared plus 1. And so because they are the same, f of negative x and negative f of x, it is an odd function. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to help you out with anything that I can. Thanks.